So in trying to understand where our microbiome comes from, you need to understand two key things. The first is that we have a deep evolutionary relationship with our microbes. They were there before us and they'll be there after we are long gone. And the bugs that live within us are not there by accident. They're there because they perform really important roles in maintaining our health. The other thing you need to know about the microbiome is that it's not entirely stable. It changes with us as we age and as we experience the world around us in different conditions. Now, those periods of extreme dynamic change tend to be in very early life and in much later life. In adulthood, it is relatively stable. Now, where does it come from? Well, it comes from our parents. So when we're delivered through the birth canal, we are colonized with our first microbes. And of course, as we begin to eat and consume food, these microbes bloom within us. Because microbes are on everything that we touch and in every environment that we experience, of course, the collection of microbes that ends up on our skin and within us comes from the environment. And that's important because all of our environments are subtly different. And it means that actually the microbiome is highly individualized. So your microbiome is very different to my microbiome. And that is a really important determinant of our health and in explaining why we have such individualized disease risks or responses to treatment.
It's commonly understood now how when we take a capsule, which is a probiotic, it boosts our microbiome. But it's far less understood how the environment around us and the food we eat also acts as a probiotic towards our health.
Well, because if you think about it, all of these surfaces, the soil, the grass, the water, it all has microbes on them that are beneficial for us. And some surfaces can have negative affecting pathogens that can affect us negatively, but if you're out in a really healthy landscape, then those microbes are going to benefit us. And that's what you miss by taking a pill, isn't it?
Yeah, because in really diverse, healthy landscapes where you have a variety of plants, lichens, animals, that also harbours the unseen ecology of the microbiome of different environments. So there's even the aeromicrobiome, the microbiome of the air around us, what we're inhaling.
I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis at 19, then had a stage 3 bowel cancer diagnosis at 30 and had a panproctocolectomy, which is a surgery that left me with a permanent stoma or ileostomy. Yeah, so ironically, I'd say, despite everything, I'm a lot fitter and healthier than I was in my 20s. I wish I'd been told about stomas a lot sooner than I was. I feel like my 20s were wasted to ill health, and it's really tough looking back to know that there could have been an answer to that I wasn't offered until I got the cancer diagnosis. I came across Bowel Research UK in the years after my surgery. I think when you are, you suddenly have this massive surgery and you don't know anybody with a stoma, you think, what on earth do I do? How do I adjust to this? And although I'd say my life now with the stoma is much, much easier, those first few months is just so daunting and just think, how on earth am I going to put up with this? How am I going to adjust to this change? It's just really reassuring. They do a huge amount of work on research, and I sit on various committees with them as PPI, which is public patient involvement, and just sit on these meetings that you wouldn't think you have an opportunity to give a patient voice in some really interesting studies that are going on and the development of all sorts of bowel disease, and it's just nice to know that the patient voice has a place.
So for me, I think what's really important is that the message of Bowel Research UK is received really widely, because one, they're doing really pioneering early stage research, which is different from a lot of other charities, and it's that kind of radical early thinking that leads to breakthroughs that can really make a difference to someone's life. And another message of theirs that I think will really come across in the show is breaking down the stigma of talking about bowel related diseases and illnesses.
And that's how we really started telling this narrative about the edible meadow, because there's the free theme plants that have been used by people for thousands of years, and they're found in meadow plant communities where indigenous cultures have tended these beautiful meadows for some of their staple crops.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I love the story of the Camassia and how they're literally tending this natural landscape, and it looks like a beautiful meadow, but it's their food crop, and they're eating these lovely sweet roots. And then like the lupins, I mean, the Egyptians would bury the lupin beans in their tombs with them, and which is crazy. I mean, it's absolutely bonkers. And then we've kind of lost touch with all of these things. You know, we've gone to such processed foods, things become very sterile, you're not engaging with the landscape, you're not creating these beautiful meadows, and we've sort of lost touch. So hopefully we can bring it back to everyone's imagination. They can do it.
And these three plants as well, they're commonly grown in gardens as ornamentals, but few people know that they're edible, and all three of them provide either gut health benefits or benefits towards the microbiome.